Okay, we are in live now.
Awesome. I'm just waiting for attendees to come in. There's nobody yet, I imagine, because it's not quite at the hour.
The live chat is work today.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know. I cannot figure out how that magic goes. So.
Very strange. So, Cathy, Daphne will be monitoring the live chat if any questions come in on YouTube. And so far, we haven't had that happen. And in fact, several times it hasn't worked. So, like the chat hasn't shown.
Uh-oh. Well, I think that my demonstration of Pressbox is going to be very, very basic, but I'll show them what I got.
Okay. We have one attendee who just who just came in. So I'll just mention that you're in a Zoom webinar, which is different than Zoom meeting. So you're muted and your camera will be turned off, but you can use either the chat feature or the Q&A module, which both will appear at the bottom of your screen as buttons if you want to ask questions during the session, and those will be monitored. And we'll just wait. I always like to wait to 1 minute past the hour, just in case anyone else is trying to log on. Hello, Laura. We're just waiting for 1 minute past the hour, just in case anyone else would like to log on or is planning to log on. I know I'm a late meeting joiner because I'm always like, oh, I have to do this one thing I forgot before I join this meeting. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So as I mentioned, we're in a Zoom webinar, so you're muted and your camera is turned off, but you can use the modules, either the Q&A or the chat, to submit questions. We do have a code of conduct for this ISU Open Education event, and I will post that link in the chat if anyone would like to review it. I'm also going to post some other helpful links that I will talk about in a moment. So let me just make sure to post those links in the chat. Also, quickly, forgot to mention, but we want to thank the, what did I do? We wanted to thank the Cultural Events Committee for sponsoring this week's events as well. So why are we doing ISU Open Education Week? The library got interested in OER early this year when we realized that there's some compelling research out there about OER. First, we learned that 42% of Florida college students said that they actually took fewer courses because they could not afford their textbooks. And in a meta-analysis that came out in 2019 that covered over 78,000 students, courses that adopted OER were seeing a 29% average decrease in their withdrawal rates. So those two numbers together, I think, tell a pretty compelling story about the financial situation of our students and how that can affect retention. But there's another benefit to OER related to instructional freedom and pedagogy, with which our presenter Cathy is going to talk about a little bit more today. Before we get into Cathy's presentation, I have 3 brief announcements. One is that you may not know, but ISU is now an ebook publisher. We now have the Pressbooks ebook platform. It's provided by the State Board of Education to ISU. If you're interested in writing your own free ebook, whether it's OER or all rights reserved copyright, you can do that. Just contact someone at the library and they'll refer you to me, Kristen Whitman. I'm the administrator of Pressbooks here at ISU. We also, thanks to our collaborator Daphne Sang, have a new OER course in Moodle for faculty. You can self-enroll in that course if you want to get updates about OER events at ISU or updates from the ITRC or training materials or recorded videos posted there. If you want to self-enroll in the OER course, instructions for how to do that have been posted in the chat. Finally, next week is Idaho Open Education Week, which is a statewide event. So if you're interested in OER, and you should go and check out their programming as well, I've pasted the link to their conference site in the chat, or if you forget and you leave the session and you're like, what is that link? You could just Google Idaho Open Education Week and it will pop right up. So without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce my colleague and today's speaker, Cathy Gray. Catherine Gray goes by Cathy. She's a librarian out in Idaho Falls and a member of the OER committee, and she was a Fall 2020 Textbook Hero honoree. And so Cathy, I'll turn it over to you. I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll allow you to share yours, and you can take it away. Oops. Sorry. Go ahead. I forgot to post the link in the chat so that all attendees could see it. Whoops. So let me do that right now. Okay, go ahead, Cathy.
Okay, so welcome to this presentation for the Online Education Awareness Week that ISU is hosting. First, you should notice that I encourage you to submit questions and comments in the Q&A section or the chat. Daphne and Kristen will monitor that, and will monitor the discussion time at the close of the presentation. For me to talk about developing an OER, I need to share a little bit about me. First, I'm a librarian by profession, and I strongly believe that the purpose of education is to provide the training and resources to develop lifelong learners and informed citizens that are able and willing to contribute to society. Information should be available to everyone, and as a librarian, my role is to provide access of information within ethical and legal parameters. I'm an instructor of the LLIB 1115 course at ISU, which is titled Introduction to Information Research. It focuses on information literacy and the skills to develop an annotated bibliography. The student learning goals of the course are based on the Framework for Information Literacy for Higher Education, which were adopted by the Association of College and Research Libraries in January 2016. However, most of the instructional materials developed by ACRL are not texts, they are teaching ideas and suggestions. The goals of the course focus on preparing freshmen for college-level research, as listed here. The instructional materials I could find frustrated me. Most of them had a strong theoretical emphasis, explaining to students why they needed to use information ethically, and students grasped the ideas, but the practical issue of how to do those tasks was often vague in the texts. Also, a great deal of research focuses on using internet resources, which change so frequently the texts were quickly out of date. I could use sections of 3 or 4 titles, but that is expensive, and I still had to create a great deal of information via lecture. I wanted the students to have the information anytime they were doing a research project, not just while they were enrolled in the LLIB 1115 class. I can and did explain the information literacy issues and use of the library resources in class, but I felt that lecture had a limited impact. If I wrote the text for the course, I could make sure they have the information at their fingertips anytime. So I wrote a text using Microsoft Word, and some of my colleagues helped with some of the issues outside my expertise, such as copyright and government documents. As most of you are aware, the writing process requires a great deal of editing and revision, which I did with the support of the library administration. I took the finished product to be printed and added a plastic binding, then took it to the ISU bookstore where it was sold as a course packet. I made revisions and supplied the ISU bookstore with copies each semester. That system worked out okay. However, as my section of LLIB 1115 transitioned to be an online course, I was encouraged by my colleagues to adapt to the OER format. I was skeptical at first because I'm not very technology savvy. However, they convinced me that I could develop the online edition and post the link on Moodle. The text could be easily revised without a bunch of paper copies being wasted, and I could incorporate the videos, graphics, and other instructional materials, which was useful to addressing more student learning styles. The biggest bonus was that other institutions and instructors can adapt the material specific to their library resources. I learned that I could put a Creative Commons license on it with any restrictions I choose. So I did CC by NC, which means others may build upon my work in a non-commercial mode, although they must acknowledge me as the creator, and the use is limited to non-commercial purposes. In 2018, ISU had a grant program to encourage faculty to develop OER resources for their courses, and I applied. However, part of the funding allocation formula was based on number of students enrolled, and my OER adaptation project was not chosen for grant funding. Since I already had the text written, I was encouraged by the library administration to pursue converting the text to the OER format. I attended a full-day pre-conference at the 2019 ACRL conference and learned that Pressbooks was the recommended software. The library purchased a license for about $95 for one author to develop one title, with all the revisions I wanted to make for the rest of my life. And it would be available to anyone I shared the link with. I had the assistance of a CPI intern for about 120 hours during the summer of 2019, and the OER was in use for the fall 2019 semester. I found that using Pressbooks was pretty easy. The software was downloaded and I developed an account that I shared with the CPI intern. The text was transferred to the OER, basically just cut and pasting each section. I was also encouraged to include the videos and graphics I had developed for the online class. That was pretty direct. However, I did find that some videos require too much memory, so several of them were added to my Google Drive or the ISU Library's YouTube account, and I just posted the link in the OER. I also found it was important to use the table of contents feature. That way it is very easy to go from one section to another out of sequence. Also, the table of contents feature lets you revise the order of the sections much easier than the cut and paste method. From workshops and from my experience, I've found that faculty using OERs focus their comments on the ease of development and revision. The fact that the software is fairly inexpensive is a big bonus, and that helps the students deal with rising book costs. It is pretty easy to incorporate videos and graphics in an OER, although you do still have to adhere to copyright restrictions. I made my own, so I didn't have any of those issues. It was very easy for me to work on the OER in Idaho Falls while the CPI was in Pocatello, since it is an online document and we both had access, so we could coordinate our work. After it was finished, I could share it with my colleagues for comments and adapted the material as needed. For example, last year there was a new edition of the APA manual, so I modified the section on citations and APA guidelines. Students are concerned with other issues. First, they really like the ability to download the text or bookmark the website or print it. All those options are available in Pressbooks if the author chooses. The OER format works well on mobile phones, tablets, and computers, although most prefer a tablet or a computer simply because of the screen size. The students also appreciate having the videos on the OER rather than having to return to Moodle. The biggest benefit of OER for the students is that it is available via the internet, anytime and anywhere they have internet connections. Oh, and the students like that it is free, at least for them. I encourage each of you to pursue developing an OER text. There are resources for you. The university now has a Pressbooks license for faculty. Just contact Kristen or the ITRC for more information. And the ITR staff are very helpful about instructional design and developing OERs. In addition, the textbook heroes the university has recognized are available to assist you. So if you're interested, we can go to the OER I developed. It is called Bridging the Gap, a guide to college level research. Here's the link and I'll show you the basics. So now I have to switch my share to the other screen and let's see where, there it is. Okay, so here we go. I need to make it just a little, there we go. Okay, so now this is what the students see when they click on the link in Moodle. This is the student version. You see that there's different things and they can see the table of contents on the left that has it all there. You'll see that in addition to this, I did provide an outline. What that has been helpful for me is to make sure that I include the same material. I'm consistent with the print version and the online. If I just have both of those handy as many ways as possible, that's been good. When I click on the first section, right here, this Welcome to Research, you'll see that there is a video that I made welcoming the students to the class. Okay, I could start playing it, but you know, that's not the point here. And so, there it is, okay? And there's the whole thing. Now, if I just click on this link down here in the bottom corner, it goes to the next section. And this one has a video that I built, but it was too big to just mount the video. It had to be with a link. I probably should go back and fix that consistently so that they're all the same format, but I haven't yet. So that's what you see. Also, now I'm going to sign in, and I've already got this ready for me here. Now that same section, see, it has this edit box. So if I click on that, there's the editing format, all the tools that you could look at. When you click on this organize, and there's just a text box with all of the things that you can do to it. Clicking on this organize page is kind of fun because there you can move things around, and I did just 2 weeks ago. Well, I guess it was during Christmas break that I was moving things around because I needed to adjust the order of some things. But for each of the options, I can move it down. Okay, I'll do that up here where it won't affect students that are looking at it at this point in time. So if I was just to decide to move this acknowledgements up, I can just click on that and it's moved. That has been very helpful. I'm going to put it back, but that has been very helpful when I just decide that I need to adjust the order of things pretty easily. There isn't any kind of time lag. I'm going to go back to one of the options there to this. As soon as if I make any kind of changes, it's done. The students, whoever is even looking at it right there and then, might notice a change. But it's pretty instantaneous as soon as you hit this save. I did not hit that save before when I moved that, so I hope I didn't foul anybody up. Are there any questions, any issues? Okay, Kristen and Daphne, you guys have to do your thing.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, Cathy, we do have a question from Laura. She asks, when you update the OER, do prior students have access to the updated version and do the hyperlinks remain the same?
So if any students still have the link, then it's there. Then they have access to it for as long as the link is active. So previous students, a lot of students just clean out their notebooks and take out the old links. And if they come back and see me, then I can give them the link again, or if they contact me by email. But it's only there on Moodle as an active link for the students that are currently enrolled. So if they want it from one semester to the next, they have to save it or contact me. But yes, it's open to anybody that has the link.
So I saw Laura had her hand raised as well. Laura, I've unmuted you if you would like to add anything or ask another follow-up question.
Thank you. No, that was my question. I was just making sure, hey, I have a question. But yeah, that really answers my question. So you have kept the same URL for your OER book this whole time. So as it's being updated, like a Google document, they're always getting the latest version.
Right. And
that is great.
That link, I mean, I did not choose the link. It was just assigned with my login with the Pressbook system. And so anybody that has it can use it.
So Cathy, you have another question from Dawn Brooks. She says, I am an ACAD 1111 instructor. Can I use Cathy's book in my course?
Sure, why not? I will tell you that some of the videos you might want to, some of the videos are very specific to assignments that I have for the course, but you are welcome to do that. And if you would like, let me know and I can email you the PDF format so you can look at it in print and highlight any sections that you would want to use as an OER or otherwise. But I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Cathy, I'll add some additional nuance to Dawn's question and to your point about the videos being customized for your class. If Dawn wants to adapt your book, but she wants to change it to add her own videos or take out your videos, she can just ask me. I will create a new copy of your book, give it to her, give her the keys to log in and change her version. So it can be customized to her course without changing anything about your book. The only downside to Dawn would be that in that case, any changes you make to your book would not be reflected in hers because she now has her own copy and it's divorced from yours, so that changes are independent of one another. But Dawn, if you're interested in that, please do let me know as well. Or if you just want to take Cathy's book for a spin and try it for a semester, and then you're interested in changing it, you could do that as well. And Cathy, by the way, Dawn did say, I would deeply appreciate the PDF version.
Okay.
So that's Dawn Brooks. And
okay. So
Dawn,
I got to write that name down, or somebody can, Dawn, if you would email me, that would be wonderful. I'll even, let's see, maybe I should share my screen and go back to my do I have my contact information?
Oh, that's okay. I'll type it in the chat.
Okay.
Cathy.
Okay. That'd be great because I didn't do that.
It's just Catherine Gray at isu.edu, right?
Sure.
I can follow on both sides. Since I'm the registration manager, I can follow on Cathy's side and Dom's side to make sure they have connect.
Yes, it's Catherine Gray at isu.edu. And so I've posted it in the chat as well.
You know, the new email system, they say it's being forwarded, but
you prefer Gray Cath? Gray Cath.
That's the automatic thing for me.
I know, it's a weird change, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Dawn says, this is wonderful. Yes, I'm highly interested. So I'm really glad to have made that connection. That is awesome. Do we have any other folks with questions?
I will tell you one thing that my son told me the other day that I should do, and I haven't because I forgot until this morning. He wants me to go through the book and let's see, I'll show you. Let's see. I'll show you on the book that he wants me to go through and find main words that I've highlighted and do a search. And anytime that word comes up, like for the glossary, anytime the word is used, to have a pop-up window with the definition there. I have not done that yet, but I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely.
I have to figure out how to build pop-ups.
I can definitely help you with that as well, Cathy. I don't personally know, being such a new administrator, but I'm sure that Pressbook Support could help us with that. Laura has a question for you. She says, may I ask what videography software you used, and how did you put the text under Creative Commons license? How did you CC the text, she says, but I believe she means how did you license it openly?
So
no, she means something totally different.
Oh, okay.
How did you add closed captions to the videos is her question. Sorry, Laura.
Oh, in Camtasia, there is an option for you. And this I learned way back in the beginning when I first started doing videos, that for ADA compliance, as much closed captioning as possible. And since the first edition of Camtasia that we had did not have the closed caption options, but it was either that or I didn't know about it for the first semester that I did videos. So I did have to go back and add them in. It's very easy. After you record the video and edit it, and then you go back and add the captions in Camtasia. Okay, I'd have to look at it and remember, but it's very easy. But it's limited in that it only allows you to do about, I don't know, 100 characters or something like that, about 15 words. And so sometimes it gets a little frustrating, but you have to do that.
Daphne, if you'd like to add anything about the ITRC's captioning service, you're welcome to unmute and do that.
Yes, I put in the chat, or if you or anyone, if you needed to captioning your video, you can take advantage of the YouTube. They have AI captioning, and then you can go back and then correct the things you needed and download the SRT, which is the captioning file, to attach or burn into the video like Cathy did with the Camtasia. And also anything you need about the captioning or technology, please feel free to contact ITRC. We'd love to help.
Okay, Laura has a question. I think you're still allowed to talk, Laura.
Okay, yeah, I unmuted myself, but I wanted to be polite. All right, thank you, Daphne. That really helps. I did set up my YouTube channel to live stream so that I can, no, I didn't I've set it up to live stream, but then I was able to upload a workshop I did and get the automatic captions through YouTube, and then go back and do the corrections. Is that what is that what you were referring to?
Yes, that's the most easy way and the most control on your hand. You can see how the captioning goes and how you want the whole thing works.
Oh, okay. Well, if I get lost, I will definitely come seek your help, because I did it, and then sometimes I don't remember how I did things.
Totally.
Thank you. And thank you, Cathy, for explaining the Camtasia process, because I couldn't remember how exactly you were using that.
It's pretty easy. It's time consuming. Takes about, after I've built a video, it takes me probably 2 hours to add the captions in.
If anyone else has a question for Cathy, you are welcome to type it in. I will ask one more question for Cathy while you're doing that. Cathy, what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about writing their own OER text?
So the biggest thing, I guess I had to have an attitude adjustment. And that was good. But you have to recognize that when the publishers are looking for materials, they want it as general as possible so they can feel like they can sell it to many more universities and students and all of that. I found that the part of the purpose for me to make this was that I could make it as specific to ISU and the resources that are available there. So I guess what you need to decide is how broad do you want it to be used, and make it be what you are definitely going to use in your course. But if you're talking about specific issues or specific tools, if they're not going to be available at other institutions, you might just kind of edit yourself there. But that's probably the biggest thing, is that be willing to adjust and flex and think about what you feel it's important for your class, and then think about what would be important for the same class taught at other institutions, and include that.
Okay, well, Don had one quick question for me that I'll just answer in the chat about how to contact me. And anyone else, you're welcome to ask questions, but I think we're at the half hour.
Okay, well, thank you. And Don, like say, I have to find your contact information, but Kristen, what Kristen gave you is right. graycath@isu.edu. Anytime. I'm in Idaho Falls. If you're ever here, you can come and see me as well.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you. Lynn says, thank you for this wonderful presentation. It was awesome. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon.
See ya.